Celadon Enchiridion, Part 3, Rodrigo García Olza novel series. D.G. Farnsworth, Rodrigo García Olza. Chapter 1. The paranormal is a journey into the unknown. The line between fact and fiction is blurred. University of California, San Francisco Psychiatry Counseling Clinic. The Resurrection of Lazarus by Caravaggio, Dr. Ravencraft, is among my favorite paintings. I love the way the artist captures a moment of resurrection, the raw motion on the faces of the figures, and the dramatic use of light and shadow. From what you've revealed to me so far today, ENR, I cannot help but wonder how the painting and your reality have become mixed up. I was walking through the San Francisco Fine Arts Museum, admiring Caravaggio's masterpiece hanging near my exhibit, when all at once I was inside the painting. I was standing in the crowd of mourners, watching Jesus raise Lazarus from the dead. Something was strange, different from the original artwork. Lazarus wasn't the same man I remembered from the painting. I looked closer and discovered it was Rodrigo instead of Lazarus. I could see in Rodrigo's eyes that he realized how I had been devastated by his death, and there was a hole in my heart because of his absence. Not only that, but I missed not having a father, even though we never met. But miraculously, he is standing in front of me alive and well. I ran to him and threw my arms around his shoulders. He hugged me back tightly, and I could feel the warmth of his body against mine. "Rodrigo," I say, "I thought you were dead." Rodrigo smiles. "I was," he said, "but Jesus brought me back." I nervously looked around at all the other figures in the painting, each one staring at me, their faces filled with awe and shock. I realized that I was the one who had been resurrected. I turned to Jesus, and I am shocked to discover that Christ has taken the form of my body in a mirror. At that moment I knew that I was Jesus. My doppelganger in the mirror smiles kindly at me. "We're so happy you're back, ENR. Welcome," he said. I didn't know what to say. I am too overwhelmed by emotion to speak. My Christ doppelganger stepped out of the mirror and extended his hand to me. I took it, and he led me out of the painting back into the art museum. I'm still shaken by the experience. Furthermore, I can't believe that I've seen Rodrigo alive. It's hard to imagine I had been resurrected as Jesus Christ. I went to the museum later to see Caravaggio's painting again. When I stood in front of it, I felt a strange sense of déjà vu. It is as if I had lived through the scene depicted in the painting. I looked at Lazarus' face, and I saw Rodrigo's face. I looked at Jesus' face, and it was me, exuding the same kindness and compassion I had seen earlier. Likewise, I know that my experience is more than just a surreal observation. It has been a vision of hope and redemption. I left the museum feeling inspired. I know that even in the darkest times there is always hope. I know that even death is not the end. The painting shows the instant that Christ points to the dead Lazarus, who is being held in the arms of those who exhumed him to bring his friend back to life. While Lazarus' left arm is limp as if still dead, his right arm is raised as if to receive the life-giving energy from Jesus' commanding index finger. Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, one in a transparent veil, are still weeping over him, not realizing he was returning to life. Philip, outside San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, red carpet interviews. Black Vein Meckham exhibition. Reality exists in the human mind, nowhere else. George Orwell. Hello, friends. Iggy Cat here with Feriado Dampierre and Mingxia Lingling of Trix Peepers for the exhibition of Einar Joaquín Olza, the youngest artist ever with an exhibition at SMMOMA. The exhibition is officially started moments ago. The museum has a long history of partnering with the most forward-thinking artists of our era. We are happy to be part of this wonderful once-in-a-lifetime event to share with you how Einar has brought his vision to life. Are you as excited as I am, Mingxia and Feriado, to be part of this monumental event? Oh, without a doubt, Iggy. It is personal for us because we all are fortunate to know Einar and the hard road he has traveled to get this far in the public eye. Mingxia smiles easily as the camera pans forward for a close-up. Trix Peepers is here to share Einar's creative process on our show and some of his stories. Wow, I am thrilled, Iggy and Mingxia, to participate in Einar's triumphant moment, Feriado adds. When you mention Einar, you almost have to recognize Joe Ravencraft, who is the face of a new generation of museum curators, Iggy declares, starry-eyed, looking intently all around her for anyone else interesting to interview, always aware that on a live television show, there is no guarantee that anyone will speak to the trio of interviewers. Indeed, Iggy, Joe Ravencraft has stepped up to lead the new guard of curators. Visitors at the museum today are relatively young. I would guess, on average, mostly in their 30s, 10 years younger than usual for the art museum. And what is even equally notable is that our survey shows that the most guests attending Einar's exhibition today have never stepped inside the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. That is amazing, Mingxia adds, waving to Diego in the distance, who is one of the several security guards for the event. Friends and fans, those statistics are no surprise. I didn't think the museum has ever done anything like this. Young minds attract young audiences. Elegant, tall, and articulate Jove is cutting a different form from the old-fashioned image of a finicky, academic museum curator, Iggy declares proudly, stopping all at once to wave at and beckon Jove to the red carpet. He walks quickly toward her. Jove, thank you so much for taking a moment to speak with Trix Peepers and the fans dedicated to Einar's work. Only for you, Iggy. Unfortunately, I only have 30 seconds to speak. The exhibit officially opened minutes ago, and I must return inside. I just left the virtual nightclub inside and only stepped out a moment for some fresh air. Many talented artists, young people like you, Joe, would have snubbed the museum world and preferred to become an artist or a big shot at the International Art Festival. Many curators with your art history background would have leaped for the art dealer's more glamorous life. You are the first senior art curator I have ever met, not in their late 50s or 60s. Does the museum job offer you more stability? Indeed, a museum is a safe harbor. I've always tried to view things from a broader perspective. I am part of a generation who grew up totally in the digital world. I am not concerned by distinctions of media. I've discovered I think differently than most folks. I try very hard to reach beyond the museum walls. Thanks for your interest, Iggy. I must go to meet Einar. Love your show. Thank you so much, Joe. The camera follows as Iggy turns sharply away from Jove toward Father Brett approaching Sylvanus. Father Brett, please, would you have a few words with our audience? Thank you, Iggy. It's a joy to see you again today. You're another man in this town who has been in the news a lot lately. and quickly become a familiar face to a large segment of San Francisco. Congratulations, Father Brett, for being elected president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. Thank you, Iggy. I am honored to represent the church in the leadership position. The investigative journalism blood in Iggy boils, and she cannot help herself but ask the priest what many in the audience think she should not. About a case her staff has been investigating concerning allegations against Father Brett while he was seeking the office of President of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. Father Brett, I grew up in San Francisco, and I think I can speak for the majority, saying that I've never witnessed such a contentious political race involving two men competing for a high church position in our city. Your opponent tried to destroy you with negative advertising, hoping to stop you from winning. Was it simply a slander campaign against you, Father Brett? Or is there a kernel of truth about some mysterious, seemingly exaggerated, unfounded allegations linked to you that you can personally clear up to our television audience? Nearby observers gasp at Iggy's question and the stunned priest's frozen expression. Sylvanus, standing next to Father Brett out of camera view, gently pulls the nervous clergyman off camera and turns towards the museum entrance. The television show cuts to a commercial. The priest should always be mindful of his responsibility to save souls. St. John Mary. Inside the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, Sibley guides her dear friend Laura, a woman shrouded in perpetual darkness, through the corridors of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. Laura's sightless eyes are windows to a world only she can imagine. She relies on Sibley's vivid descriptions to paint the surreal canvas of their virtual exploration. Laura lives in a vibrant dog-patch neighborhood amidst rows of charming houses and cheerful cafes not far from Einar and Sylvanus' home on Mariposa. She's always been a bright, inquisitive soul, full of laughter and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. However, being blind is a condition that has cast a shadow over the world since birth. Yet Laura refused to let her disability define her. Instead, she embraced life with an unwavering spirit, her heart filled with hope and a deep appreciation for the surrounding beauty. The walls drip with a macabre artistry, Laura, Sibley whispers, her voice echoing through the digital void of a virtual museum seeping into reality. Each of Einar's brushstrokes appear to pulse with an otherworldly energy, beckoning us into its morbid embrace. Oh, Sibley, you're such a deep thinker. Laura's mind conjures images of grotesque figures emerging from the depths of the museum's virtual walls, their forms contorted in an eternal dance of agony. She almost feels the damp chill of the nebulous San Francisco sea air seeping into her bones. Einar's exhibit, Black Fade Mecca, stands out among all these other resurrection-themed displays. Sibley continues, her voice laced with a tinge of fear. It's as if the basic concept of death has been defined, twisted into a grotesque mockery of life. Laura usually experiences art differently. She can feel the texture of the brushstrokes and the emotions of the paintings as well, see the world in a way that no one else can. Her story is a reminder that everyone has different ways of experiencing the world. No one should judge others based on abilities or disabilities, but be open to new experiences and new ways of seeing. All at once, she shivers, her imagination running wild with visions of decaying corpses, reanimated, their flesh crawling with grotesque life. The virtual museum had become a haunting stage for Einar's macabre spectacle. As they venture deeper into the exhibit, Sibley's voice grows increasingly strained, her words punctuated by gasps of horror. The painting seemed to shift and change before my eyes, Laura, she exclaimed, her voice trembling. The figures within are no longer mere depictions. They seem to possess a life of their own. Laura undergoes a surge of panic, her heart pounding like a drumbeat bouncing off her ribs. The line between reality and the virtual world seems blurred, leaving them both vulnerable to the horrors that lurk within the digital realm. Her blindness is not an obstacle, because it has become a lens through which she experiences art in a way that not many people can. Illuminated by the colors of art, the stories she had experienced through Sibley's words. Acting as her eyes, Sibley has increasingly become a connection to a world of beauty and wonder. For she had eyes and chose me. William Shakespeare, Othello. Sibley's whisper is hardly audible above the pounding of their hearts, mysteriously stricken with fear. The air is thick with an oppressive silence, Laura. It's as if the very essence of death has strangely permeated both the museum's physical and virtual space, like it's attempting to suffocate all life within. Laura could almost taste the putrid decay around Einar's paintings that seemingly seeped gradually into the air, her senses overwhelmed by death's oppressive aura. The museum, particularly in the proximity of Einar's art, appears to become a portal to a realm beyond where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural dissolve into a terrifying abyss. Suddenly, a piercing scream shatters the harsh silence, echoing through the mix of the museum's corridors. Sibley gasped, her hand instinctively clutching Laura's arm. It came from the last painting behind us, Laura, the 13th painting, Sibley exclaims, trembling with fear. The figure within is staring at us, its eyes burning with an unholy light. Something is not right, Laura. I sense that Einar's exhibit is much more complicated and ingeniously constructed than I ever imagined. Laura recoils in horror, conjuring images of the monstrous figure in her imagination with eyes glowing with an infernal fire. The virtual world Jove and Einar created for his exhibit to enhance the art looks to have taken on a life of its own. Laura senses they are caught in an atmosphere that could develop into a prison of terror, a realm where the deepest fears might potentially reveal a chilling reality. Oh, the virtual nightclub Jove created is closer than I thought. It's directly next to Einar's exhibit, Sibley discloses. Einar's official showing doesn't begin until more than an hour. Jove planned a celebration party with a band inside the club. That is where almost everyone is before the show begins. The club will be open all evening, so I expect a lot of folks will remain there, at least most of the young people. Steps from the virtual club's door, Laura smiles big, jubilantly exclaiming, I can feel the excitement pulsating from the club already, Sibley. I am privileged and happy to be part of such a notable achievement for Einar. We are often more frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than reality. Renaissance virtual nightclub near the Black Fade Meckham exhibition. I'm drawn to you, Einar, but love remains an elusive emotion for me, Sibley confesses after a third cocktail on the disco's dance floor. I rely on your support. I desire your presence. I have a hard time imagining my heart belongs to you. I crave you, Einar. I depend on you, but I can't fathom loving you. Einar stops dancing and stands motionless with a glazed look on his face, obviously shocked. The band suddenly begins a hard rock beat with vocals droning out the remainder of Sibley's words. Einar only watches her mouth move in silence. What the hell are you talking about, Sibley? You want and need me, but your heart is stubborn and unmoved? Jeez, what does that translate into? It sounds like you're telling me despite your feelings for me, there is no way that you'll ever love me. Is that right? I'm almost afraid to ask. But does it mean that although you are yearning for me, Your affections lie elsewhere? Is there someone else you are in love with, Sibley? Oh no, Einar, of course not. I'm not in love with anyone else. I'm sorry. Everything I said came out wrong. Can we talk about this later? Or not talk about it at all? I must go and help Laura, who's overwhelmed with guests standing in line for eye drops. She created a potion from roots and the bark of a shrub for tonight at the request of many friends and fans familiar with her eye drops. The intention is to kick up the party to a higher level. Eye drops are psychoactive and administered using an eyedropper. Laura forgot the eyedroppers, and I just returned to the museum with some eyedroppers I bought at the drugstore across the street. I was en route to give them to Laura when you pulled me onto the dance floor, Einar. Oh, I understand. I wonder where you disappeared to, but too much blatant and obvious drug use inside the museum makes me nervous, especially near my exhibition where it might be a bad reflection on me. So I hope you'll encourage those partaking in eye drops to stay in the nightclub and not wander around the art museum under the influence. Oh no, Einar, Laura's concoction is benign. The drops only heighten the fun atmosphere and elevate everyone's visual perception. The effect of the eye drops is similar to a party drug that produces feelings of euphoria, relaxation, confidence, and sociability, and increased sex drive. Jove knows all about the eye drops and gives Laura approval. Jove has used the eye drops previously at one of Nairobi's rituals and knows the concoction is harmless. He's such a cool guy. Jove even helped Laura create the back room similar to a dressing room where anyone can visit and take the eye drops if they want to raise the level of their artistic experience. Okay, that makes me feel better about the eye drops. I'll talk to you later, Sibley. Einar pushes Sibley unexpected words out of his mind, concentrating instead on the high-energy celebration inside the discotheque-style club Jove created as a counterculture venue. Jove designed a unique title and logo for the temporary nightclub's front entrance, Renaissance, related to Renaissance, a cultural revival, a new birth or life. He chose the name because being on the dance floor is like being born again. Club culture continues to thrive and evolve, and Jove has a plan to link Einar's art with upcoming music festivals. The breadth of tonight's exhibition, all facets including the club venue, will broadcast live on the internet by Vernissage TV, Art TV in Basel, Switzerland. All the Swiss television folks who recorded the documentary at Einar's Vernissage months ago have returned to video a unique television art project about the youngest artist chosen for a solo exhibition at SFMOMA. In the pulsating heart of the art museum, alive with nocturnal revelry, Discotheque Renaissance stands as a beacon of electrifying rhythms and mind-bending visuals. The labyrinthine dance floor throbs with the frenetic energy of dozens of souls, each lost in sound and light's intoxicating vortex. Pop band Jove, discovered from California's College of Arts named Reanimation, rules the stage with a hypnotic blend of drum beats, synthesizers, and ethereal vocals. Their melodies seem infused with otherworldly renaissance, which seeps into reality's fabric, blurring the lines between the physical and the psychedelic. Strange excitement pervades the scene. Whispers circulate about the availability of cosmos drops, a potent, mysterious elixir capable of heightening perception, intensifying the sensory experience to a degree almost unbearable. Many club patrons drawn to the allure of the unknown lined up to receive a dose. 3 of the younger Las Sin Sombreros help Laura put the liquid in the eyes. As the drops touch guests' eyes, a wave of euphoria washes over them. Their senses explode into a kaleidoscope of sounds and colors. Einar remains on the dance floor, surreal spectacle. reflecting a swirling vortex of bodies contorted into what look like impossible shapes. While movements mirror the syncopated rhythms of the music, the world around Einar dissolves into a mesmerizing light tapestry. His eyes trace the intricate pattern of the discotheque decor as the band's music takes on an otherworldly dimension. Melodies morphing into the cosmic grandeur of sonic landscapes. Einar's eyes close while the notes dance and swirl around the high-energy dancers, everyone seemingly experiencing intimate connection to the music. Amidst the celebration, a sense of unease creeps in, a dissonance so subtle that it lurks beneath euphoria's surface. The colors grow more vibrant and tense, the dancers' movements and rhythms more erratic, and the sounds more grating. The line between pleasure and pain becomes blurred, and their senses are overwhelmed by the pure intensity of the experience. A couple of dancers collapse, with faces contorted in masks of terror because their minds cannot cope with the onrush of stimuli. Most people continue to dance, but physical movements are gradually frenzied. So many eyes are wide with a mix of exhilaration and fear, what many critics say Einar's art often evokes. The band is affected by the cosmos drops. The music is increasingly darker with a more ominous tone. On a stage basking in eerie red light, melodies grow dissonant and lyrics are filled with cryptic energy and imagery. When the celebratory party reaches a crescendo minutes before his exhibition's official start, Einar exits to return to his gallery, anticipating visitors. Without warning, Einar is caught off guard by the appearance of Jove, who reaches from behind to wrap his arms around his chest. He kisses him lightly on the cheek, sincerely and affectionately expressing, "It's the little things that keep the fires burning, Einar, like between you and me. So here's a tiny ember to add to the fire. I want you to know how much your friendship has meant to me. I don't say it enough, but you are the most important person in my life to me. Besides Elios and my mom, and you matter to me in every way. I hope that never ends. Being without you would seem unnatural." Einar tightly squeezes Joe before he releases him. "Geez, I don't know what to say, Joe, except thank you. You're a beautiful guy. When life offers someone very special like you, dreaming stops. Is everything okay with you and Sibley? I could not help but notice earlier in the nightclub that you seemed upset." "Oh no, everything's fine. I overacted." "Okay, I'm surprised I haven't seen the silvery white raven yet, Einar. Joaquín is usually already the life of the party by now. By the way, you look stately, almost regal, with your glistening silvery white hair. Joaquín should be arriving any minute now with Livingston and Clarice. The Raven couldn't get enough of his two best buddies and spent last night and today at Livingston's and Tristan's home. Plus, during her time in San Francisco for Einar's opening, Clarice is usually at their home instead of the Luma Hotel. Joaquín is loving all the attention. The Raven reported something odd he discovered in Livingston's bedroom. The symbol of the Yemenite Ura on a broken piece of clay. Strange. What do you think Livingston is doing? Why does he have that in his home? I don't know, but it is interesting revelation, Einar. Of course, Joe. My supreme curiosity makes me feel a bit nosy about Joaquín's discovery. A real secret is something which only one person knows. Andreas Shaw. Sibley and Laura stand in front of a large blank wall in what suddenly appears like a virtual art gallery. Laura only hears the sounds of the surrounding gallery, the light murmur of voices and the hushed footsteps on the virtual art gallery floor. Sibley continues to be her eyes, describing the art in vivid detail. The wall is a canvas of shifting colors, Sylvie describes, her voice filled with awe. The hues swirl and blend like a cosmic dance, tugging me into their depths. Laura can almost see the colors herself, the vibrant shades swirling behind the closed eyelids. She feels a strange sensation, a tingling that seems to begin in her fingertips and spread all the way through her body. Sibley continued, flabbergasted as her voice took on a more urgent tone. The colors are shaping forms now, she says. Figures are emerging from the chaos. Their silhouettes indistinct, but their presence undeniable. Laura's heart pounds in her chest. She can sense the body forms, their presence looming over the museum like invisible giants. She senses a mix of fear and excitement, not sure what to expect. The figures are reaching out, Sibley whispers worriedly, her voice trembling. They're trying to touch us. Einar's 13 paintings in the Black Vade Meccan exhibition are cold and sardonic mirrors of a steady, mechanistic, and firmly set world of horror. He has set this world brilliantly, clearly, and gallantly, depicting a true world of horror experienced with his eyes, unsettling, disturbing, and realistic. Laura reaches out, but her hands and fingers are trembling. She experiences a cold touch against her skin, a ghostly caress that sends shivers down her spine. The moving forms laugh, echoing through the virtual gallery. The sound is chilling and beautiful, like a soul's haunting melody. Laura and Sibley stand motionless for minutes, hand in hand, surrounded by the surreal and supernatural. They're not sure where reality ends and the virtual world begins. The lines remain blurred and the boundaries dissolve. Time is lost in a world of ethereal figures, shifting colors, and haunting laughter. It's a world where reality is only an illusion. As the menacing figures fade away and the colors subside, Laura and Sibley are left baffled among the crowd. What was that? Laura asks, her voice barely a whisper. Sibley shakes her head, unable to describe what they had just experienced. The moment defied explanation. A memorable, surreal encounter. They wander through the virtual gallery in search of Einar's physical art exhibition, knowing they crossed an unknown threshold in what seems like the labyrinthine depths of an eldritch art museum. Laura walks slowly with Sibley alongside Einar's greatly respected paintings, guiding her in an almost spectral voice. Her senses, sharp by a lack of sight, perceive the museum's ambience. The musty scent of aged paper, the hushed whispers, and the palpable aura of arcane energies. A chilling unease creeps in, a sensation that transcends the physical realm. Sibley takes Laura by the hand, saying, "You can be easily confused in this dreamy atmosphere. The scene is made of stars that we can reach up and touch. The laws of physics don't seem to apply. Objects levitate, shadows move on their own, and the very fabric of reality seems to be shifting." It was a fabulous way to enter the Black Vade Meccan exhibition and be greeted by a ghostly avatar of Einar, but a little creepy. I watched the unearthly avatar lead folks through a portal into a virtual world inspired by his paintings. Yes, Einar as an avatar is a clever idea. I picked up a subtle smell similar to rotten eggs earlier, and it's getting stronger. Do you smell it, Sibley? Yes, I smell it too. I swear I don't know why I say this, but I feel like the bad smell is slowly seeping from most of Einar's paintings. Like it could be a chemical reaction. The odor is getting worse. The object of art is not to reproduce reality, but create a reality of the same intensity. Georgia O'Keeffe. As Sibley and Laura explore the gallery, they notice strange things happening around them. The paintings seem to be coming alive. The shadows in every corner of the room appear to be moving. Visitors start to hear whispers in the air and are not sure whether what they are seeing and hearing is real, a product of their imagination, or a virtual reality created by cutting-edge technology to create immersive worlds that are indistinguishable from the real world. Sibley and Laurel stop momentarily to listen to an art critic talking loudly above the immersed crowd. Great art and a deep understanding of nature are required to create something like Einar, Joaquín Olza's work. Any mediocre artist can splash paint around and call it a nightmare or a witch's Sabbath, but only an extremely talented artist can truly make such a thing scary and believable. Only a real artist like Einar can depict so marvelously the true anatomy of horror and the physiology of fear, the exact lines and the proportions that trigger our primal instincts or hereditary memories of fright. These are combined with the correct color contrasts and lighting effects to stir our dormant perception of the strange and send a shiver down our spine. Einar captures things beyond life that can make us feel for a moment. Gustave Doré possesses it. Sidney retains it. Anthony Angarola has it. Einar commands it like no one else ever has or probably ever will. I don't think anyone since Goya could put so much pure hell into a set of features or a twist of expression. Sibley knows not to ask Einar what he sees. She is one of the few aware that he is an artist with a type of vision that lets him summon up scenes from the spectral world. She reiterates to Laura, Einar's art is terrifying and believable because of a deep understanding of human nature and the psychology of fear, learned through scenarios of personal terror and the subsequent therapy. He taps into our primal instincts and hereditary memories of fright and creates images that evoke a sense of the otherworldly and peculiar. The monstrosity and the madness lies on the surface of Einar's exhibit paintings in the foreground, where symbols are transformed into demonic portraits. Seldom another lower-level gallery inside the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. Father Brett and Sylvanus encounter a room with mirror-covered walls. Reflections seem to go on forever. The floor is made of water, and Sylvanus and Father Brett can walk on it without getting wet. Mirror reflections are distorted and twisted. As they look, both men start to see things they know can't be real. Monsters, ghosts, and other creatures from the supernatural realm disappear when anyone reaches out to touch them. Everyone feels trapped in a world where they can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. The two men logged in as required inside the museum and found themselves in a grand lobby with a skylight streaming sunshine and towering marble columns. Confused, they wander through the museum, admiring the paintings and sculptures. Father Brett suddenly stops, and Sylvanus follows in front of a striking portrait of a man with pale skin and piercing red eyes. The man smiles, but it is unsettling and cold. A chill runs down each of their spines. Neither one of them could explain, but it seems like something is wrong. They quickly move in the direction of Einar's gallery. When exploring the museum, they feel watched. Each would turn around and see nothing, but the feeling remained. They discovered a peculiar installation of a large room with black mirrors on all the walls. Both curious men stepped into the room and looked at the reflections. Initially, all things were normal, but all at once, Sylvanus notices the reflection is moving differently than he is. The mirror reflection is smiling, but he isn't. The eyes of his reflection grow red. In the mirror background, Sylvanus and Father Brett see many people dancing and hear faint music. Father Brett screams and backs away from the mirror. He turns to run, but the door to the gallery has slammed shut behind them. They are trapped. The mirrors begin to close in on them. the reflections distorted into the grotesque. Each man glances at the other, startled and confused by whispering in their ears they can't understand. Sylvanus tries to scream, but no sound comes out of his mouth. The two longtime friends are trapped in a nightmare. Suddenly the mirrors shatter. Sylvanus and Father Brett collapse to the ground. Both frightened men lie there for a long time, gasping for breath. Neither of them know what happened, but realize that it was real. Sylvanus helps Father Brett slowly get to his feet and move cautiously toward the door. They stumble out of the gallery and into the hallway. Bewildered, they enter the Black Vein Meckham exhibition through a portal that transports viewers into a world of pure imagination. There is filled with otherworldly music and the scent of exotic flowers. Einar's artwork is at the center of a plethora of exhibitions using state-of-the-art technology to create an immersive experience. What Jove characterizes as challenging the viewer's perception of reality and to spark the imagination. As time progresses, art patrons realize that Einar's art theme is confusing reality with the supernatural to create a sense of wonder and awe, blurring the lines between reality and illusion. The exhibition explores the concept of resurrection in both the literal and figurative sense, reinforced by another version of Einar's paintings, which are brought to life through digital technology. Einar's floating avatar creates a sense of magic and wonder, which suggests that artist Einar has been resurrected in some way. It is a wonderful place where people can escape the ordinary experience of the extraordinary Sylvanus, Father Brett explains to Sylvanus as they suddenly step forward to examine the greenish yellow substance secreting slowly from each of Einar's paintings. In the original Koine Greek, the color of death is a hue of green, yellow, and called Celadon. What some people call pale or pallid, like the fourth horseman's death horse, it's hard to forget that pestilence is the pale fourth horse, denoting the personification of death and devastation. Oh yes, death will manifest physically on earth in human form, Father Brett. The yellowish green, like the horse, is the color of a corpse. It is parallel to a demon wanting to take on human form. Hades follows him. The monster's jaws are open like a wild animal and awaiting to receive victims slain by death. He brings biliousness and sick. It reminds that we must increase our diligence to protect Einar, Father Brett. Yes, Sylvanus, we must take deeper measures to safeguard Einar. The usual color of liquid secreting from Einar's black paintings appears to be the result of some types of chemical reaction. An unforeseen demon comes to mind. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But a demon as the culprit is my intuition. Most of all, your astute observation about the similarities between a demon and the Celadon fourth horseman is astounding. I agree. In ancient times, the color Celadon was associated with envy and poison. Garden of Eden depictions many times have a Celadon hue suggesting the sinister and unease. Sylvanus clarifies, suddenly alerted by an abrupt shift in exhibition room lighting to allow a better look at the mystical atmosphere. Right, Sylvanus. Geez, it smells bad. So Celadon liquid is gradually taken over all the black in every painting like a corpse. Remarkable. I hope the strange odor doesn't ruin the paintings or cause spectators to leave the museum. Einar's art is too compelling and folks must get a full opportunity to experience it fully without haste. The black paint on Einar's canvases that is peeling off is creating a fascinating Celadon texture. I am so proud of Einar. His exhibition is of a much higher caliber than I expected. Yes, it's downright creepy at times how Einar, along with Jove and his art crew, have transcended time and lifted the veil separating the dead from the living inside the art museum. Only a short distance from Father Brett and Sylvana, Einar remains consumed with a resurrection ritual coinciding with his art display. He notices that the museum is starting to change. The paintings and sculptures appear more grotesque. The faces of artwork figures are twisted and contorted. Their eyes are shockingly filled with malice and hatred. Einar shivers. He starts to feel uneasy, wondering if he might have recited one of the resurrection incantations incorrectly or not mixed an ingredient properly. A sudden urge to leave the museum arises, but he can't find his way out. He nervously whispers, "Am I trapped in the virtual art exhibition?" Einar wanders through the gallery, terrified. He feels someone's eyes following him. He turns around abruptly, surprised to see a figure standing behind. The silhouette is tall and thin, with sunken eyes and pale skin, wearing a long black cloak. Einar can feel its cold breath on his neck. He cringes. The shadowy creature opens its mouth to speak in a raspy, otherworldly voice, sending a chill through Einar. "Welcome to my museum," it says. "I have been waiting for you." Einar tries to scream, but no sound comes out. He is paralyzed with fear. The shadow reaches out and touches Einar's face with icy cold fingers. "You are mine now," the form whispers. A wave of darkness washes over Einar. His scream is hardly audible in the clamor of the crowd while the entity disappears. I believe in everything until it's disproved. So I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as the here and now? John Lennon.